Well, hello and welcome back to Mrs. Hawk's Math class. You're going to notice I'm moving on today to lesson 11. We're not going to do the entire lesson, so I'm sure you're glad to hear that. We're going to look at a couple pages and then we will wait to finish the rest later. So we're going to look at ratio tables and make some comparisons. But the first thing I want us to do is we're going to do a little review. You will notice I have a ratio here, 30 to 80. I would like for you to make an equivalent ratio, 30 to 80, and I want one of them to be scaling up and one to be scaling down. So what I mean by that, scaling up means I want you to pick a number to multiply 30 and 80 by to make it larger. So for example, if I do the first one for you, let's say I decide we're going to multiply by 10. So I'm going to take this one times 10. And I'm going to make this one times 10. And so I've made an equivalent ratio. I've multiplied by 10. See if you can make another one for us. All right, so you could have picked any number you want. So there's lots and lots of choices. The second one I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply it by 2 to help me remember. So I'm going to put the 160. 2 and 80 times 2 is 160. Okay, so I've made 2 of them that are scaling up. Up meaning my numbers are larger. So let's look at scaling down. That means I'm going to take this and I want to reduce it. Well, one of the things I can see that these are both 10s, so I could divide by 10. If I divided by 10 for both of these, I would get 3 to 8, and that happens to be the value. What else could I divide 30 and 80 by? I might need to look at my factor sheet and find another number that goes into both of them. I notice that since they're both 10s, that means I could also divide them by 5, or I could even divide by 2, I notice, because they're even. Let's go ahead and divide them both by 5. Well, if I take 30 divided by 5, I have 6. And if I do 80 divided by 5, what is 80 divided by 5? You might have to solve it in your calculator. 80 divided by 5 should be 16. Okay, now it said we only need to do 2 equivalent ratios scaling up, so these are larger, and 2 scaling down. Okay, we're going to move down to the table that talks about hours and number of pizzas sold. Okay, so we're going to notice here that we are working 2 hours, and the number of pizzas sold are 16. 5 hours, 40 pizzas sold. 6 hours, 48 pizzas sold. 10 hours, 80 pizzas sold. You will notice there is no pattern here. We're not counting by anything on this side, and we're not counting by anything on this side. So it looks like here the only pattern we have is we're going across here. 2 times 8, 16. 5 times 8, 40. So it says write a ratio to describe the relationships shown in the table. Well, to me, the smallest ratio I have, and I'm going to highlight it here, is 2 to 16. So if I write 2 to 16, I would write it like this. But I want a ratio to describe the relationship. So that means I want to know if I can reduce this. I want to know, once again, the value. So if I want to reduce 2 to 16, most of us can see that these are even. So if I would divide them both by 2, it would be 1 to 8. That means for every 1 hour we work, we sell 8 pizzas. One of the ways I can remember that 8, remember, is we multiplied here by 8. All right, let's look down, and we're going to look at some more tables comparing words per minute. Okay, the directions say, the following tables show how many words each person can text in a given amount of time. Compare the ratios of texting for each person using the ratio table. So let's see, we have 3 students here, Michaela, Jenna, and Maria, and we need to find out who can text, obviously, quicker. I don't see, let's see how we could compare. Looks like here, I'm going to highlight this, we could compare Michaela at 3 minutes and Maria at 3 minutes. So obviously Michaela can do 150 words in 3 minutes. Maria only does 120, so it looks like Michaela has more. Let's see, are there any other things we can compare? Well, it looks like I could compare Maria here. 6 words per minute. And Jenna has 6 words per minute. Let's see, Jenna can text faster. So now I need to somehow compare these two. But if I notice, let's see, there's not really anything I can do to compare these two to each other. I don't have any matching minutes. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to solve the value for these. So let's see if there is a way. I have here 3 to 150. I want to know how many words she can type in 1 minute. 1 minute. Well, let's see. How would I reduce that? Well, if I don't know my facts, I could do one of the things I could do is I could say I'm going to take 150 and I'm going to divide it by 3 minutes. And so I found out that if I divide it into 3 minutes, we have 50 words per minute. Some of us were able to actually simplify this. We know that 3 goes into 3 once and 3 goes into 150 50 times. So now I found out that Michaela can type or text, 50 words in 1 minute. Let's check Jenna. So, Jenna has 2 and 90. So if I look at 2 and 90 on my scrap paper here, once again, I have 2 ways I can do this. I could notice that they're both even numbers, and because they're both even numbers, I could go ahead and divide them both by 2, and 90 divided by 2 is 45. Okay. The other thing I could have done is I could have taken my 90 and divided it by 2 this way, and if you notice, I'm going to come up with the same answer, 45. So we found out that Jenna can do in 1 minute 45 words. Well, let's go ahead and just finish Maria. Let's find out what she does. So she did 3 minutes 120 words. So let's take our 3 and 120. We could either divide them both by 3 and gives us 1, and 3 goes in 12 4 times, or we could do it this way, 120 words divided by 3 minutes. Oops. And we still have 40. Well, look at that. We now know exactly how many words per minute each person can text. So obviously I can see that Michaela is the fastest because she can text 50 words. Jenna's second with 45, and Maria is fourth with 40. All right, on the next page, we're going to get to make our own ratio table. We're going to look at Max. It says here, complete the table so that it shows Max has a texting rate of 55 words per minute. Well, hopefully you've been paying attention to some of the lessons and know per minute would mean 1 minute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make our ratio table. So minutes is on top, and we said per 1 minute and 55 words. All right, let's continue to make our table. Let's say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and 4 minutes. So go ahead and take your 55 and see if you can take it times 2, times 3, times 4, and fill in the table. All right, so let's see. If you took 55 times 2, you should have 110. 55 times 3, 165. And 55 times 4, 220. So Max obviously is a faster texter because if you notice he had 55 words per minute. Okay, we're going to talk now about water and juice. It says the tables below show the comparison of the amount of water to the amount of juice concentrate in grape juice made by 3 different people. Whose juice has the greatest water to juice concentrate ratio and whose juice would taste strongest? Be sure to justify your answer. So they're making their juice, and as you can notice here, Laredo has 12 cups of water, 4 cups of juice. Okay, so there's a mixture of water and juice. Franca's has 10 cups of water, 2 cups of juice. And Milton has 8 cups of water with 2 cups of juice. And as you can see, they have tables that they filled out for all 3 of them. But we need to figure out which one of these 3 people has a juice that's stronger, which means it has more juice than anyone else compared to water. So when I look at these, I try and find something that I can compare and see if there's something that they both or all 3 have. There's nothing that I can find that all 3 of them have. Like I look at the waters, of the juice. I mean, some of them have some matching numbers, but there's nothing that all 3 of them have. So the first thing I noticed is if I look at Laredo here with 15 cups of water and 5 juice. Go ahead and highlight that one. And then I'm going to compare that here to Franca's because Franca also has 15 water. And if you notice, if I compare these 2, okay, so highlight, circle, do something so we can look at these 2, we notice that Laredo has more juice, 5 cups of juice, where Franca only has 3. So as of right now, I would say Laredo has a stronger juice because there's more juice than Franca's. Let's see, what else could I compare? Let's get a different highlighter out. Let's look at this down here. Highlight, Franca has 40 cups of water compared to Milton's 40 cups of water. Now if I compare those 2, they have the same water. Milton has more juice. So Milton has more juice than Franca as well. So let's go back and look one more time. We have Milton has more juice than Franca. And when we look at Laredo and Franca's, we notice that Laredo has more. So we know that both of these students have more juice than Franca does. So when it says here, put the juices in order from the juice containing the most water to the juice containing the least water. Well, we proved here both times that Franca has more water compared to juice than these two did. So we're going to go ahead and write down here Franca. Okay, Franca's is the weakest so far. Now we have to somehow compare Laredo and Milton's. We need to look to see if there's something we can do to compare the 2 of them. All right, so when I look at these 2, I notice the only thing that I could find in their 2 tables that I could compare is I noticed they both had 4 juice and 4 juice. That's something I can compare. Well, let's look here at the water. Laredo has 12 cups of water and Milton has 16. So obviously Milton has more water than Laredo's, so that means Milton would come next on our list. Which means the final name would be Laredo. Okay, then it says explain how you use the values. Oh, there's that word values again in the table to determine the order. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and put here, let's find Laredo. So Laredo has, if we did water to the juice concentrate, if I look at Laredo, he has water of 12 to 4. I need to find the value of that. I need to simplify that. What number can go into 12 and 4? The largest factor. If you take out your factor sheet, you're probably going to notice it is the number 4. And I know that 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 obviously goes into 4 1 time. So I just found out here for Laredo, his ratio is 3 to 1. Okay, let's do Franca's right here. And we're going to do water to juice concentrate again. The smallest ratio I notice is this one here. So let's do 10 to 2. How can I find the value? What number goes into 10 and 2? It's going to be the number 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and 2 goes into 2 1 time. So let's go here and we'll write this here for Franca. And then the last one we have to do here is Milton. Once again, we're going to do water to the juice concentrate. Which ratio should we pick? I always like to do the smallest one. We'll do 8 to 2. What number goes into both of these? So it looks like it's a 2 again. 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 2 once. So now we've actually been able to prove exactly if I have 1 cup of juice for all 3 of them. Franca obviously has the most water, 5 cups of water. Milton has 4 cups of water, and Laredo has 3. We were able to actually find that here. We did highlight and kind of knock things out of doing that way, but finding the value made it very simple, and we were able to find out who had the strongest juice and who had the weakest juice. All right, we are going to actually finish lesson 11 later. We're going to go ahead and stop. So go ahead and hold on to your things, and we will finish at a later date.